Hi guys, it's Marty with Options Unleashed. Thanks for watching. This video is more of an intro into Options Unleashed and an intro into my channel in terms of my mission to help you guys as option traders to develop your skills, develop a process, and mostly develop an option playbook to create a repeatable process to become successful option traders. Typically, in what my videos are going to provide is they're going to be a review of the markets, maybe the macro picture, the recap of the markets, the big indices, stocks that I follow, opportunities for option trades, maybe option plays that I have on, option plays that I'm looking at, things in the queue, that kind of nature. We're going to review opening and closing trades because we want this to be more of a tutorial or lessons in creating better option strategies. And I'll show you in a minute. I'll give you an example of that intro, but the option trading tutorial will typically follow on any given subject because there's so much content that it could probably fit only one aspect of option trading per video. Will probably take about 20 or 30 minutes. Then we'll also maybe look at new tools and studies that we want to use or that we're using today that people are looking at, investors are looking at, what tools work, what tools don't work. Maybe some of the reviews out there of some newer tools, you're probably familiar with them. I use the TradingView application for most of my charting, but I also use Thinkorswim for my options. And I'm also looking at Tastyworks from the guys over at Tasty Trade. So I also then just review questions and comments from you guys. So taking a look at our mission, the mission of what I want to go over with various videos. And again, we can't cover these all today in one video. This is going to be a series. And my goal is to kind of, first and foremost, is kind of educate you guys and inform and really review the tools of the trade. A lot of people are interested in option trading. I've been doing it for about 5 years. I've been investing in stocks for 30 years. Been pretty successful, but I really didn't really understand the markets, and you might hear this from other people, but I didn't really understand the markets until I started trading options. A friend got me into it, and then I actually went over and I got interested in the Tasty Network and Tasty Trade folks, Tom and Tony. You might be familiar with those guys, great guys, created a great company called Thinkorswim. They sold it to Thinkorswim. And I actually ended up meeting Tom and Tony in Chicago, and from then on I was basically hooked on option trading and really trying to create successful strategies around kind of repeatable, making profits on a repeatable basis. We all kind of fall into that trap where maybe the first year you do really great, and the second year you get a little big, you get too big, your trade's too big, and you get a little crazy, and then you start to try to learn about option trading as you go along. That's kind of how I got into it. I didn't set up a paper trade account with the TD Ameritrade. I jumped right in. But they do have paper trade account that you can use, and we can show you some of that. And I also use Fidelity as well for my other portfolios. I have brokerage and IRAs through the years. So I trade on different platforms. The Fidelity platform specifically for IRA. I do options in my IRA as well. We can cover that. We're going to cover that. We're also going to talk about the TD Ameritrade and TOS or Thinkorswim platform, some of the tools of the trade there, and how do you create studies and how you create kind of your platform. I'm just getting to know the Tastyworks platform, so we might review some of that stuff. But also I use the TradingView and also some other tools for charting and news. So that's kind of it, the educate and inform. The approach to investing in option trading is really, for me, is a holistic approach. I try to bring together kind of a macro, a technical, heavily though on technical analysis. I I look at the fundamentals. I'm very directional myself personally, and I also bring in. I'm big on the social, what I call social fundamental analysis or sentiment, the sentiment kind of view of where certain stocks are. Over the years, I found that sentiment plays a big role in trading, when to enter and even exit trades. Technical analysis, though, is the foundation, and so we're going to use a lot of the tech. We're going to use technical analysis a lot in these video series, primarily to be on the side of being able to enter trades as well as exit trades. I call that the fine tuning knob. So I use like the macro and the fundamentals to be like the big tuning knob, if you will, like in terms of honing in on what securities to potentially look at that are good candidates for option trading. And again, I look at this when I put here approach to investing and option trading, is I look at these together. I look at investing and as option trading kind of augmenting my investing strategy. There's no one, it's not one or the other. I have a long portfolio, I have an IRA, I have a 401k, I have a brokerage account, and then I have the option account and yet another account. So you may be just starting out with where do I open an account? Where do I go? Or you might be leaving a job with a 401k and you're not sure how to roll that money into a rollover IRA, and you want to get started in trading. You want to get your hands, on your account, and you want to be able to trade specific stocks or securities or funds outside of what your company offered. So we'll go into some of those things. And as we get further down into we're going to go from general to more specific in terms of option trading. What are the kind of things that we look for? What kind of makes option trading, what's the holy grail, if you will, of option trading? And that's really volatility. So volatility and options best practices and kind of lessons learned from me as a trader. Like people will tell you, you can sell this out of the money put for, and have a 85% chance of being out of the money, one standard deviation. But what does all that mean? What happens if the implied volatility is only 50%? Or, what happens if the IV rank is 5 or 10 or 20? Is that good or bad? So we're going to go into IV implied volatility, IV percent, and also IV rank, and we're going to talk about the differences of those things because they are different. But I can't do it all in one video. That'll be a whole series on volatility and what we look for particular strategies. In general, I will say, as kind of a teaser, like if you trade options, that when volatility is high, we like to sell premium. When volatility is low, we buy premium. And we look to those. That's kind of the basics. But then what do you do when volatility is low? For instance, that's the most challenging, right? When volatility is high, it's pretty simple to sell, options. But when volatility is low, we have much harder time trying to find those pricing opportunities, if you will. So I try to look for, there isn't really mispricing in the market, but I try to find what I consider mispricing opportunities where I think the market or the traders, the investors have got a particular security out of whack, or they're on the wrong side of the trade. So I'll take advantage of that mispricing opportunity to, coupled with the volatility and the different option strategy and best practices that we're going to show you, then you'll be able to have a better confidence and you'll have a better conviction of getting into some of these trades. So that's kind of that's going to be big on best practices. Then we're going to talk about some of the common misconceptions and myth about option trading versus just regular stock trading. A lot of people start out with investing or they start out investing first. And unfortunately in this country, we don't really teach our kids, finance in grade school or even in high school. It's not taught in terms of the stock market and different types of finance, different types of financial vehicles or investing vehicles. Option trading is probably not even taught, even in the college level, but it should be, or probably is more being taught now than it was 20 years ago. But when I started, we didn't really understand a lot about option trading. We thought that it was like a craps table or the casino, and we thought it was very risky. We're going to talk about some of the myths and misconceptions about that, where you yourself, if you're just starting out, you're really scared about plopping down, $900 on a trade and then losing it in 30 days or a week. That is scary. And another thing is there's a lot of misinformation out there, people telling you that you can get rich buying options. And there's a ton of videos that do that. This isn't going to be one of those channels. I'm not going to tell you can get rich from buying options. I'm not going to tell you that you can get rich by using my strategies and selling options or crafting up different types of strategies. What we do try to do is look at successful strategies for a couple different things. One is just what I call, seeking alpha. You've heard that term. The ability to seek alpha above and beyond the S&P 500 return. So if the S&P 500 has returned 10% on average since 1929, we try to seek alpha, in addition to that 10%. So we're trying to achieve, first of all, we're interested in it, right? Otherwise you wouldn't be interested in learning about options. But B, you want to be in control of your financial future, and then you want to try to exploit or learn about these alpha strategies where you as a retail investor, we typically haven't had our hands on information that big trading firms have had over the past 20 or 30 years, but that's changing. So today's retail investor has a lot of power, a lot of tools available to them. So you're kind of here watching the video and learning to try to take advantage of those opportunities. And that's what it's all about, right? It's finding opportunities for success, but it's a repeatable process that we're after. It's all about the process at the end of the day, just like any other profession. And it's all about hard work. So if you work hard and you learn the process and you get what we call an option playbook, we're going to show you what an option playbook might entail, how it works, how to use it, why we use it, and you'll find that your option trading, if you do some already, or even investing, even it'll augment your regular investing. There was a time where we usually, before options, we would buy stocks and we would think that, this stock's going to go, Snapchat, it's selling at 17 and it's going to go to 21 by the end of the week. Or Apple is trading at 129 and it should hit 137 by the end of the week. But we were all guessing. But with the options market, you're able to see what the basically what the expected move is in any particular security that has options, that sells options, because it only works with options where there's option trading markets and market makers. With that expected move, you can now try to understand a little bit more about the actual underlying security that the option applies to. So that in itself is just a great reason to understand options, if at all, just to understand the expected move. But we use expected moves a lot during earnings trades. And some people like to play earnings, and some people don't, because they're more kind of binary events. So we'll go into some of those as well. I tend to play very directional trades. So if I have a particular feeling about a direction, about a stock, and mostly technology stocks, being that I'm a software engineer, I know a lot about software plays, software stocks. I also follow the healthcare markets and the financial markets. So, I mean, if you have a feeling, if you know, kind of like a Peter Lynch thing, if you know the company and you know the strategy and you have a feeling about a direction, then you can use those directional trades. Then we're going to get into some of the kind of internals about options trading itself, and strategies. So you're going to learn about the Greeks, the different probabilities, taking emotion out of investing. So we're going to be talking about, what is a one standard deviation move? Why do we look for things that are one standard deviation? What are the types of strategies? What strategies do we employ at certain periods of high volatility or low volatility? And also kind of how to achieve just how to play different strategies, but kind of in a repetitive process, so we're not guessing, and kind of get that streamlined down to a process where you can look at a chart after a while and kind of get a grasp right away for what type of strategy you want to play without spending a lot of time. And then kind of like that's where we come into developing your trades, your enter and exit strategies. Like I said, you should be able to, at that point, kind of have a good idea of, sometimes it takes me a day or two to think about different types of trades, and sometimes it takes me only a couple minutes. It depends really on the security, how well I know it, but also just also the volatility. If there's not a lot of volatility there, it could take longer to develop a trade, and sometimes we don't play. There are trades where you just don't take, and so we'll go over that. We'll talk about mental toughness from time to time, battling your fear and anxiety. We're going to go over all the things that we do, that I've done, and so hopefully if it'll help you avoid the same mistakes of the traps that we fall into. What happens when you get mad that you lost on a trade, it was going well and you lost, and now you're full tilt and now you want to short it. Or you chase a stock, you knew it was going up, but you're chasing it now, and now you're buying a call option and you're paying this huge price for this call option. Or it's the end of the year, like Christmas and New Year's, you got 2 weeks left and you got a nice profit, but you want to see if you can double it. Those are all things that are kind of things that we're going to battle as option traders. We're going to have losses, we're going to have fear, we're going to have anxiety, and we need to control our emotions, because you can take a profitable year and you can blow it in the last 2 weeks of the year. Or you can you can go full tilt on a trade, and it's or you can just have a mental, what I call just like in golf, we have mental mistakes, like you should have played this type of shot and you didn't, you went for it. So because you went for it, you lost money. Or you might even be surprised that we need to know when to close out trades. So something you'll hear a lot of people say, other instructors out there, which is correct, that you want to make sure you're closing out your short positions before expiration. That's like a key to making sure, and we'll get into it, but that's a key to making sure that that you understand how expirations work and how assignments work, option assignments. That's very key to not having, you want to amass a profit and you have a good track record, but you don't want to like see it all evaporate because of one bad trade. And then most important, is we have a repeatable process. We're using probabilities. We're using sound strategies. We want to celebrate our wins. We're not going to win every time, but we want to celebrate our wins and just have that confidence. It's going to build, kind of like, like a snowball going down a hill, but the confidence is going to build like it's going up a hill. You're going to get that confidence where you're going to feel like on top of a mountain that, you hit 7 of 8 trades or 7 of 10 trades in any given month. And after a while, you're going to start to see that, you're going to start to see that amassing small trades in a repeatable process with probability of success, you're going to be able to like look at your financial success and say, wow, this was cool. I'm achieving alpha. So that's kind of my mission. And again, I've been trading options for about 5 years, and I've gone through all the pitfalls, and it probably took me about year 3 to where I started realizing that I needed to go back to the basics and then develop a plan. And then in year 4, I started looking at option playbooks in terms of writing down basically what my plan is, and that would slow down what process, what I was thinking in my process, and forcing me to really have a plan. And then once you have a plan, obviously you can better execute on a plan, right? There's something like 85, you achieve 85% of the things you write down versus, things that you don't write down, give it all things equal. So that's kind of our mission. Just to quickly show you now, I'll flip to some of the tools I use. So have up here, like I use the trading view for charting. I recently got into this tool actually this year. I was previously pretty much dedicated to using Thinkorswim platform for my option trades. So here's my Thinkorswim platform. Here I have a Disney trade on, and it expires in January, and I put this one on earlier. These are some of the trades that we're going to go into, but this is an unbalanced call butterfly that I placed during the peak of the coronavirus. I figured that Disney was mispriced, that it's going to come back. The stock was trading down in the where was it? Down in like the 117 areas. Let me see where it is. The stock, Disney was trading down in the down to 92. Disney was trading down at the 100 level, and I had placed a trade back in May for January, which was a long way out, but this was just one strategy where I played that unbalanced call butterfly, and you see I was actually targeting the 150 area, which is right around here. I was targeting the 150 area for January, mostly because this is where it previously was. I figured it would come back up and reach its all-time highs and kind of like have trouble getting through that, that area, kind of like a double top kind of fashion. When the recent sell-off, Disney could sell back down to 150, who knows? But the point is, that was a very profitable trade. That trade cost me $3, and I bought, there was one butterfly, so $300. And at the peak, that trade would return about $2,600. Currently, right now, it's at $1,000, but I've been selling calls against it. I've been selling calls and doing different strategies on this whole trade throughout the whole summer. So Disney's been very good to me. I also bought it long in my long account. So Disney's been really good to me. But we'll use, so during this series, during the video series, what we'll do is I'll go over my watch list in TradingView. I'll show you some of the tips and techniques that I use, the technical indicators that I have. I have the 20, the 50, and the 200. I also use the VWAP for like the 5-minute trades. I'll have a VWAP indicator. I also use the MACD and I use the RSI indicators. And I look at RSI mostly when it's above the 50 range or below the 50 range. That's about it because it is a trend indicator. I basically use RSI for above trend, below trend. And that's it. I try to keep things really simple. I draw trend lines when I can. We'll go over a lot of these. Well, like for instance, the spiders. You'll see that we're entering this big. We've been in this big ascending wedge for a while now, so this is going to resolve itself. Obviously, there's a kind of a strong indication that we need to have a pullback in here, back down to the 320 area. So there may be an opportunity for a trade here during the week, next week. Right now, kind of just undecided. Volatility is low, coming down. Spiders are everything's getting kind of tired in here. So today, the S&P 500 was down. So these are the types of things we'll go in our videos. We'll talk about our watch list, talk about the trades we're looking at. I'll go over my long list. These are longs that I have in my long portfolio. Disney was one of the big ones. Snapchat, Ulta Beauty. Ulta is my number one, my number one pick right now that I'm long in. So crafting options around these wherever I can. Did well in U.S. Steel on the comeback. Already sold it, but still own some. JP Morgan's been great, up since 100. I like Waste Management. Hasn't really moved much yet, but I love it. I like the idea of Coke. And I have a lot of things that, not a lot, a few things that we're looking at, and also some ugly plays. I have an ugly list. I have Bed Bath & Beyond on my ugly list, and I have a put butterfly right now on that. But I'll go over all those. We'll cover the Thinkorswim platform. We'll talk about all kinds of different studies, different watch lists that I have on there, news, watch, different ways of looking at implied volatility, how to craft up trades in the TOS platform, what to look for, right? So, when you see these things, you might be overwhelmed with implied volatility being, 85% out of the money. What does that mean? Is that good or bad? It depends, really, right? It depends on the IV rank. It depends on the implied volatility. It depends on the historical volatility. We're going to go into all those things in our class, in our videos. So that's about it. And then I also use Fidelity for my just my long account, and I do trade options in there. It's not my favorite tool for trading options because I like the graphical representation of the tools. I like the Analyze tab in Thinkorswim. And then we'll talk about what I look for on any given day. Here's the options that I own. And then I'll talk about some other trades where there's opportunities for like mispricing. So another thing that we'll go into is the stock playbook. I'll share with you how I build my stock playbook, and what I kind of take note on, like today's news. With Apple in the market with EV, looking at getting back into the EV market with the iCar, Apple and Tesla heating up on that big debate, right? The Tesla, the big elephant with 9 years of experience versus Apple. We'll talk about different things in the videos about, is this good or bad? What's that look like? How does that relate to a trade? The different news. We'll look at, like I said, the indexes. House passed the $900 billion stimulus bill. Adults got $600. Dependents under 17 get $500. But Trump is saying he wants to veto it unless he gets his spending package. So we'll see. That could cause actually some volatility tomorrow morning. It looks like the hotel and travel stocks got hit hard, but something that I'm noticing is that the travel stocks, like Boeing, for instance, it's in don't care mode, right? Uh, the reopen trade is stronger than the travel fears right now that I'm seeing. So, what does that mean? It means that your restaurants and your Ulta Beauties, your Macy's, Ulta Beauties, Under Armour, those are all some of the ones I'm watching. Um, those are stronger than the travel stocks where, the Marriotts and the Hyatt and the Hiltons of the world, where those guys really get their revenue from business travel and also people traveling in general. So it looks like the travel stocks, while Boeing is a travel stock, it's looking more down the road towards the 737 MAX being in return to service. We've got new orders from Alaska Airlines. We've got a lot of new orders that you assume are going to be piling up in the next, weeks or months. So these are all, the risk for Boeing is all to the upside. So you're looking for Boeing to just kind of recover. Um, you just look for Boeing to just kind of continue this reopen trade, if you will. So we're going to get into all that on the videos. Don't want to get into it here, but just wanted to give you a little bit of a taste for, like I said, the kind of what I wanted to do during the videos is go over, again, teach you guys strategies, go over an option lesson or tutorial of the day or of the video of, of that time, get suggestions from you guys in comments of what you think we ought to focus on, what are the things you guys want to see, whether it's tools or some lessons on implied volatility or different things that you want to see. A lot of it too will be around what are good trades to make. Like I showed you Disney. I am a big fan, if you notice my logo, I'm a big fan of the broken wing put and call butterflies. So we'll go into into that detail and why I like these trades more than I like vertical spreads sometimes, depending on what we're looking at. Also, why I don't like iron condors. Um, and I'm a very directional kind of trader, so I'm going to get into some of the ways you can play an iron condor, some of the safe ways, but also some of the ways and strangles, but also some of the ways that you can also get burned and hurt in iron condors, and why we have to be really careful when we're doing when we're forming trades for iron condors. But that's about it. I want you guys to have a safe Christmas. If you're traveling, be safe. Have a great New Year's. If I don't get another video out before the new year, I will definitely see you in January. Please subscribe, hit the like button, add notifications. I'm starting out with the channel and hoping that kind of you guys can invite me into your living room and home and on your smartphones and on your desktops, and this can be kind of a regular a regular channel that you watch to learn and also get into option trading with me, and also just kind of be part of that community of option traders, where we can kind of learn things together. I might not have all the answers, but I promise you guys I will do my best to come up with good content, real live examples. When I show you guys the different trades, we're going to craft those trades online, live, most likely after hours, but we'll craft those trades online and with real data, and hopefully give you a sense of and take some of the mystery out of option trading, but most importantly, educate and inform you guys, help you create a good process and a repeatable approach for successful trading. And I'll see you in the next video, and again, have a great Christmas and